Welcome to this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live, the show which ensures that you profit from your time spent here with experts, either through the industry insights, information, or simply learning from them. And today we have Leela J. Wohlwend. She is a best-selling author, investor, business owner, and homeschooling mom. And we'll be learning from her a lot about balancing business, investing, and family life. Welcome to the show, Leela.
Thank you, AJ, for having me here. I really appreciate it. I think a lot of people are in the same situation now that I was in when I got started because I was running a business, I was investing in real estate, and I had two kids. And I tried to do what most people do, which is I'm going to keep my work life and my home life separate, and I'm going to balance these perfectly. And what happened is I almost felt like I had them, you know, my work life was on one side of a bar, and my home life was on the other side of the bar, and I was running back and forth trying to keep it all balanced, like a seesaw or a teeter totter. And I was exhausted because I felt like I was just running from one side to the other, and it wasn't working for me. And I sat there and I thought there's got to be a better way. And I tried to look for, other people that were in the same situation as me and what are they doing differently? Because they didn't seem nearly as stressed as I was. They didn't seem nearly as burned out or as tired. And I wanted to do more with my family and more with my business without having all of that stress. And so instead of just trying to keep everything so separate, I started integrating everything. And I would do some work from home and I would teach my kids what I was doing. And, I would talk things through, hey, I've got this problem. Here's the solution I'm trying. We're going to see if this works. And all of a sudden, all of my life just kind of came together in one big thing. And the benefits of that was my kids were learning about business. They were learning about real estate. They actually started to get interested in what I was doing. And instead of being stressed, suddenly it's like my life just fit together so much better. And I became a better businesswoman because I was taking lessons from what I was doing with my kids and realizing, well, that works when I'm, managing people. And then I took what I was learning from, my work life and I was bringing it home and, oh, this works as a parent too. And suddenly all these things came together so perfectly. It's one of the things I talk about in my book, Family Success Triangle, because I was struggled so hard with trying to balance everything. But really the integration brought it together so much better. And I think my husband, he really put it succinctly. He said, for those of us with a religious faith, that faith is not just with us when we go to service. It's with us all the time. It's integrated into our life. Well, I think business and family are the same way. Those things are with us all the time. And so instead of trying to keep them so separately, bringing them together really can make it so much less stress, and you can be so much more successful at both of them. It's amazing to me the lessons that carry over between business and family. And it doesn't matter if you're running your own business or if you're working for somebody else, but some of those same lessons about managing people is a great way to help manage your children. Communicating with your team is a lot like communicating with your family. And I think all of these things, while we think they're so different, they're really not. They're really very similar. Motivating the people that are on my real estate team is very similar to motivating my children because it's not just about money. We're all looking for something that satisfies us emotionally, that really fits into our life. And so what motivates my team isn't necessarily just what are they making every day. It's do they like where they work? Do they feel like they're fulfilled at the end of the day? Well, my kids are the same way. It's not necessarily about one thing. So I've got to figure out what do they want and how does that fit in and how can I use that? Well, it worked both ways. I could do that with my team. I could do it with my kids. And I really thought that was a big, huge lesson for me when it came to the whole balancing things. And that's something a lot of people don't talk about.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that is what we'll be learning today. I want to understand from you, Leela, you want to spread, financial education to people after, achieving your goals for yourself, your husband, and your kids. And you want them to be financially free. And then you talk about, you were a good student. You talk about that you always got A's in school, but you weren't really learning the information that was needed. And then you actually realize that your true education came from after college from seminars and conferences. I want to understand in this backdrop of, learning and to being financially free, why do you have put so much of emphasis on seminars and conferences where a lot of people say all these are so boring and you almost fall to sleep? I want to understand how can people make use of these seminars and conferences which can almost change their life.
Well, I think a lot of it comes down to who's running the seminar. And a lot of the ones that I started going to, when I was in school, everything was, sit there, listen to the teacher, you take notes and take this test. Well, that's not interesting. Most kids get very bored in that kind of environment. Now, if you're a visual learner, that can be fine. A lot of visual learners do great in regular school. But if I was one of those kids that if I couldn't be up and moving, if there wasn't movement involved, I wasn't really learning anything. And so I needed a lot more interaction when it came to learning. And when I went to some of these seminars, I got to seminars where they were integrating music and movement, and they had you working with other people in the audience. So it was an incredibly interactive experience. It wasn't just a you're going to listen to the speaker and take notes. It was a you're going to get up and you're going to practice what you're learning right here before you ever leave the room, and know that when you walk out the door, you've got this. And so those are the seminars I was attending, and it was a totally different experience than what I had in the traditional school system. And that to me was perfect because it brought together the knowledge that I needed, the practice that I wanted, and the interaction that I needed to put them together. It was the best experience I had ever had. And so that's one of the reasons that I wanted to homeschool my children, so that I could give them an environment where they could have more interaction when they needed it. Or if they didn't need it, then they could do their own thing. And we had a lot more freedom in how we did things and how they learned. And that worked out really well for us. I could take them to my business and they could learn how to do some of the things there. I could take them, out in the middle of the woods and we could learn things there. And it made it so much better for them than just sitting in a classroom hoping that taking notes was going to be enough to learn the information.
Right, right, Leela. So you see how the world has changed and how you have adapted and adopted a different sort of a world. You are homeschooling your kids, and they are, they have earned a lot of money for themselves. They have almost secured their financial life. That part. In terms of learning, you said seminars and conferences. So as an adult, people can look at it from that point of view. Rest, the learning and earning part keeps on happening. In terms of someone who is getting started, how should they, look at these things for themselves as well as planning for their family? Is the world changing drastically when the old system will not work, and this is the new system? This is the system which will actually work, and else as to fade away. I want to understand, because only once you have some business, some investing money into with you, then only you can think about balancing all those things together. So first is to gain that insight into making enough money, creating a business, creating that understanding to create the business. How does it work for oneself, as well as how they can inculcate these habits which can be put across through to their children also?
Well, the first thing I think anyone should invest in is their own education. And if you know how you learn best, you can actually focus what you're learning in that direction. If you learn best by listening to someone, there are so many podcasts out there anymore where people are giving away free information every day. If you learn better by seeing things, there's videos all over the internet that you can learn different things, where you can watch things happening and watch people do certain things and learn that way. If you're one of those people like me that needs the interactive experience, that's where the live seminars to me are so much better, because you're physically there, you're physically doing things. And those can be, so really you can choose anything you want. We're in a great information age right now where you've got so many choices of how you want to learn and where you want to go to learn those things. but the information's out there. I mean, we want people to become financially free. We want them to have more time freedom, location freedom. It's one of the things my family is very passionate about. It's why all four of us travel around and we speak, and we've got our radio show and we've got our website, because we're out there trying to do like you're doing, educating people and getting them to where they want to be in life so they can be happier. I mean, to me, that's what's going to make the world a better place. So really, my goal, if you want to get into being financially free, starting your own business, start with your own education, because really we didn't get these things in the traditional school system. You've got to actively seek these things out, but the information's there. You can find it, and you can find it in a way that makes it easy for you to learn. And once you find those sources, really you can start skyrocketing. So it's a matter of learning the information, and then you've got to take action. That's the next step that's so hard for people, because it can be a little scary in the beginning. You're doing something brand new, but those new things can really take you to where you want to be in life. And that's how I recommend everybody get started.
Absolutely. Now, when you are getting started, or even if you have begun well, things cannot be so good. You people also face a lot of hardship in your life. At that point in time, the main focus becomes survival, looking at the for another day. How do you build up your education, a business out of nothing? How do you see things pragmatically in that? Educate yourself and then look at expanding the business. Also, in terms of the family life, any difficult situation is a challenge on relationships, on the family life, and it becomes very difficult to manage so many things, to survive, to grow, to look at the right for things, and also keep the family going. How did you manage to look at things from a right perspective, leading it to a position like this, and then creating something of a book like the Family Success Triangle? I want to understand the mindset that can create, and so many people we see, they are not able to do it, and it is a all breaking up situation.
Well, to start with, always expect that things are never going to go perfectly according to plan. Know that you're going to have a challenge. Something is going to happen that you don't expect. And really, you just need to you've got to become the kind of person that is willing to take on a challenge and figure out how to get through that problem, how to solve that problem. And really, I think a business really is just a group of people that are solving problems for someone. Whether it be, like, I run a real estate brokerage, so ours is housing. We're solving the problem of where people are going to live. But every business solves a problem for someone, and that's how you make your money. And are there challenges with that? Oh, without a doubt. Every business has its challenges. But to me, it's almost becomes like solving a puzzle. Here's the problem for today. Here's possible solutions. Let's try this one. Does it work? If not, you try something different. And the goal is just to overcome those problems. If I think we grow as people every time that we manage to solve a problem. Every time we overcome a challenge, and life's going to throw those at us. That's kind of what makes it exciting, but it also is what helps us grow. And so, if you start with a level 3 problem and you've solved that, well, now you've become a level 4 person. And now maybe you get a level 5 problem and you become a level 6 person. And you keep growing with it. And that's how we get to be better at business. And what we can do is take those challenges home and say, look, here's the problem I had. Here's how we solved it. And here's what we're going to do tomorrow. And your kids can learn from that. Your spouse can learn from that. You can share these things together. Sometimes I'll come home and bounce ideas off my family. And strangely, you'd think, oh, okay, well, this 10-year-old kid isn't going to. No, the 10-year-old kid sometimes sees a solution that an adult won't, because they come at it from a completely unique standpoint. My one son actually solved a problem for us and came up with a great idea for our business that we still use today. And he was, I think, 9 at the time. And so sometimes it's nice to have that family interaction where they're actually, contributing to what you're doing. They're learning from it. You're getting a benefit. Everybody wins, and you're closer as a family. So don't think it always has to be something separate, and it doesn't have to be the stress on the family. What you don't want to do is come home and all you ever do is talk about problems. You never talk about solutions. You never talk about what went right. If you're only focusing on the negative, it's always going to be a stress. But if you're looking at it holistically, if you come home and say, well, we had this problem, but we solved it. And hey, this is what went right today. And here, if you're giving them the whole view, there's way less stress in that, and you've got good communication. So that's really the key for that.
Absolutely, absolutely. How did you look at the real estate when things were so difficult? Okay, real estate is something we should look at, and then that achieved a lot of success. And now, when you achieved success, how are you able to look at other things? What is the say your career, the way you can actually look through where you should invest? What is the way you look at it? Because that is where a lot of people keep on looking at which are the areas that they should invest their money in.
Real estate to me was always fascinating. I was interested in it from the beginning, and when we got involved in it, real estate's got so many different facets, things you can do. You can focus on buying or selling. You can focus on renting. You can rehab properties and then sell them or rehab them and keep them. Like, it has all these options to it and all these different parts you could learn about or do. There's something in it that keeps me interested all the time. And when it comes to assessing whether a property is a right one for us to put into a real estate portfolio, a lot comes down to, what do you want? Really, you don't buy a piece of real estate just to have a piece of real estate. You buy it with, some goal or intention. Look, I want to have, for example, my husband decided he wanted to buy a sports car. And so before he did that, instead of just going out and buying the car, we took the money that we would have spent on the car and we bought a mobile home park. And the mobile home park generated enough cash flow to not only pay for the sports car, but it actually had more left over. And within 5 years, the sports car was paid off, but we still had all the income from that cash flowing asset. So it's a matter of, is what you're going to buy going to meet your goals for life? And that's really how we look at these things. This isn't, yes, you want to make sure numbers work. You want to make sure a property is going to, give you the end goal you want. But sometimes it's more than just, the money aspect. It's does this make sense for what I want in my life? So you got to kind of look at it a little bit differently, because most people would have just went and purchased a car. Instead, we purchased the asset, and it not only got the vehicle, but it also provided that income from that point forward. So it's a different way of looking at it, but it's so much better and it works.
Absolutely, absolutely. My next question is, difficult times and failures can break people and also break relationships, but success too also can do that. After being so successful in all your investing, your business, how do you manage to manage so much of success? What is the secret to it?
Well, one of the secrets is it's a mindset. You can't just get up in the morning and say, "Look, I've failed 50 times in the last week, and so I'm just going to give up." It's all about not how many times you're getting knocked down, but how many times you get back up. You only have to get up one more time, then you get knocked back down. So a little bit of persistence has got to be in there, and you've got to kind of look at it as this is my challenge. I am going to figure out how to make this work. If Thomas Edison would have given up, we would not have the light bulb right now. And he had to go through thousands of tries to make this work. At some point, he had to be frustrated and say, "Look, we've got to figure this out, or I'm going to give up." And he had those two choices. And he kept going till he made it work. And really, that's what we all need to do. And it can be hard. Trust me, when you're frustrated and things aren't going right, sometimes you just feel like, I just don't want to do this anymore. But you've got to pick yourself up and go, you know what? I can beat this challenge. I can do this. I just have to keep going. And so you've got to kind of, pump yourself up. And sometimes you can use some music to help with that. Sometimes the people that love you can help with that. But you can't let it get you down. And you just got to find the way. How can I get out of that funk, that desire to give up, and keep moving forward? Because you can do it. You've just got to keep going. And so just don't give up. That's really the secret.
Right, right. And what is family time like? Because everyone is into a lot of things, a lot of business, a lot of success. Your kids are also busy into investing, real estate, and all. So is it all about business, or is it more about? So that's why I asked, how does your family time look like?
Our family does a lot of things that are business oriented, but we also do a lot of things just for fun. We'll go camping or fishing. We've got a pond and an orchard, and we'll ride four-wheelers. So we go and do a lot of things that are just fun. I remember when Ethan, he wanted to know what the ocean looked like, so we literally hopped in our plane and we went to the ocean so he could see it for the first time, and he had a ball swimming in the ocean. And so sometimes it's just, what do you want to do for the day? And other times we do need to focus because we've got goals that we want to meet, and we think that's important too. But there's got to be a balance. You're working for something, so you've also got to take your time to enjoy life and celebrate the wins, and spend that time with family. Especially, kids grow so fast, and at some point in time they're going to be adults and they'll have lives of their own. So you've got to enjoy them while they're there. So yeah, take that time. It doesn't matter if you're playing a board game or a card game, or if you're going out and doing something bigger. Just enjoy every moment because it's worth it.
It's worth it. Now, coming to your book, Success, Family Success Triangle. What is this book all about? What can people learn from it? Who is this book for?
Everywhere we go, people keep asking us, how did you get your kids to invest in real estate at a young age? And how are kids that aren't even 18 yet, how are they doing all of this? Well, we get these questions everywhere we go, and it's not a one-word answer. I couldn't just say one sentence and answer that. So the book was our answer. It literally talks about how we raised our kids, how they got started, what challenges we had to overcome or that they had to overcome. And it really gives the whole picture of how we integrated our family into our business, how that worked for us, how our kids managed to do what they've done, and answer that question that we get all of the time. And really, we wanted to inspire other families to start working together. We wanted to inspire business owners to start looking at their team a little bit differently, and to use maybe some of the things that we learned with our family and take that into their business, because we want everyone to have more success in their life. And I think it's just a matter of, sometimes they're just ideas we haven't thought of yet. So if we can all share those together, we can all get more successful together.
Right. And now you have a radio show. Tell us a bit about that too.
Yes, we've been on a lot of podcasts and radio shows, and one of the radio stations literally contacted us and said, we want to give you your own show. And so now our goal with this show is we're bringing on people that can talk about leadership and business and family and investing and all these things that made us so successful. We want to bring that to everyone that's listening. Any information that we can share that can help other people, we want to make sure that's out there. And so they're playing our shows every morning. It's 7 a.m. Eastern time. It's the Brushwood Media Network. And it's also in Canada. It's in the UK. So really, the Real Power Family Radio Show, our goal is really just to bring you some of the people that have really made a difference in our life. So you're going to see a lot of our guests are people talking about important topics, because we want you to have that information. And so, especially if podcasts and radio shows are ways you learn, this is a great way to do it. So that was one of our goals with the radio show.
Wonderful, wonderful. There is much to, learn about this, either through the book, through the radio show, through whatever you people do. So what is the best way for people to learn more from you? And also those people who want to, perhaps invest into whatever you do or learn more about all that. What's the best way to connect with you people?
We are on all social media at Real Power Family. We've got a YouTube and a Rumble channel, again, at Real Power Family. So we've got videos that can help. We've got education on our website, realpowerfamily.com. Some of it is for free. If you want something more geared towards you, something more intensive, we do have classes on there. We've got mentoring options. So a lot of different ways to help people. But you can really get started for free. We've got a free newsletter that comes out. So if you like to read versus watch videos or listen to podcasts, we've got that option. We're trying to gear our education towards any kind of learning style. So no matter how you learn best, we've got an option that'll meet that. Because again, we want to see people succeeding. That's definitely the goal.
Absolutely, absolutely. On this note, it's a wrap on this very special edition of the KJ Masterclass Live. Thank you so much indeed for joining us.